This is Timveni Newsline.
Welcome back to Timveni Newsline with me, Kimberly Kaunda. Next up, we have Maphunziro265, which is basically an initiative that is seeking to reduce the number of school dropouts in Malawi. So in the studio today, we have one of the founders, or the founder, Chimwemwe Manyozo. Welcome, Chimwemwe.
Thank you.
So to begin with, tell us a bit about what Maphunziro265 is all about.
So basically, like you have already said, Maphunziro265 is an initiative that was created to reduce the number of people that drop out of secondary school and university. And I think you're already aware that in Malawi, we have a free primary education system, so people can get into the primary education. And there are a lot of more programs that have been put to ensure that students still stay in primary school. But when it comes to secondary school, you start paying. So you have community secondary school where people have to pay, then you have the private sector as well. Then we go to university, so people are also paying. And this brings in a reduction of number of people that are in those attending school. So you have people that legitimately want to be in school, but for some reason, circumstances. So you have maybe they have lost their parents, or they happen to be the person who is now in charge of the family. So they have to decide whether they to go to school or get that money and take care of the rest of the family members. So when you look at all the situations surrounding people that are dropping out, among them you see that it's an issue of money. So we had to set up Maphunziro265 to make sure that we reduce the number of students that are dropping out because of issues of finances. Even if you go to the university now, I mean, the school fees was hiked.
It keeps going up.
And it keeps going up. And the assumption is usually that people are going to afford. And then there's a loan system, and which both of us know that it's not really taking into account.
Doesn't really work
it doesn't really properly. There are people that are not supposed to be on that system.
Are still on it, and
they're still on it.
Need it are not on
so we thought that there is a way that we can reduce the number of people that are dropping out. And interestingly, after working with a couple of people in the country, one of the things that I noted is that Malawians are people that are willing to give.
Really?
Yes.
That is very different from the common misconception. Seriously.
And this has been through my experience. The only thing that you need to do is to give them a reason.
A reason to give.
A reason to give, that's all.
Wow.
And if you go back and look at the various initiatives that have been done in the country with a particular reason, you see that there are a lot of people that are coming in to give, organizations are joining in to give. So which makes you ask, where were they all this time?
This entire time, right.
It's all because somebody gave them a reason
to give.
Now, when it comes to Maphunziro265, after looking at that, we said, you know what, we can set up a scholarship system.
Wait, before you proceed,
yes.
How many are you in Maphunziro? You're saying we a lot. So Maphunziro,
let me see.
What's the team made up? Just give us a brief.
The team now should be, I think, 65.
65?
Yeah, we are 65
That
now.
is astounding. Seriously?
Yeah, we're 65. So
what inspired? What was the, obviously you've elaborated already on the aim of it.
Yes.
So your vision for it.
Okay.
What is the vision for Maphunziro265?
Yeah.
Along with the other events you guys hold. You hold quiz, because I read about your quiz
night. Yes, we'll talk about that.
And you do some talks and you do some CV improvement stuff. Yeah, tell us a bit more about your vision and these other things that you guys do.
All right. My vision basically is to have a different Malawi altogether. We are looking at a Malawi that has young people that are driven, that are focused, and quality and excellence should be the part of the Malawi that we're talking about. So, and from where we are now, that doesn't seem to be the situation. And some of the reasons we have control of, some we don't. So we are trying to ensure that we develop a generation that is better than our generation, which is able to do better than what we did.
To do much more.
So, and that is going to feed into the government system, private sector, and we should be able to drive this country to the next forward. I mean, we are tired of seeing this country
the same old.
And one of the things that you see is that, say for example, if we talk about education, our parents experienced a very good education.
They did.
Because they keep telling us about how things were better that time.
Yeah.
You know, during Kamzu's time, education was good. People speak good English. At this level, you're able to know this and know that. But what have they done to develop this particular generation to go beyond what they were.
Right.
You see that our education...
That's an important conversation, yeah.
You see that our education system continues to get messed up.
Instead of
improving from their time. So there's this whole blame game which is happening.
Right.
I've been part of it. I'm tired. It's time to act, and then we have a different generation. So that's the vision that I have. It's a very big vision, but I know that it's going to happen.
On the events you guys hold,
yes.
For example, the CV building,
standout talk.
Before we start with that, the background being that there's a lot of youth unemployment that's happening, not just in Malawi, but across Africa.
Yes.
And so you find that even when it comes to applying for scholarships and jobs, we're having to compete with people who are better.
Yes.
When you look at the education, the quality of the education system, they're better than we are. So in the events you hold, the workshops, standout talks, thank you. The standout talks that you hold, tell us a bit more about how those work and also some of the responses that you've received from people who've attended. Okay. Have you had any testimonies?
Yes, actually we had a testimony this week.
Oh, you did?
There is a guy who attended the standout talk on Sunday, and we talked about having a one-page CV.
Right.
And I like this guy because he just didn't learn about it and stop. He developed a CV on Monday, and then he sent it to an organization.
Wow.
He has been offered a job. So it's last Sunday. This is not even the next week.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. In 3 days, he got a job.
Wow.
3 days.
Okay, I'm gonna attend that one.
So in 3 days he got a job, and it was all because he was able to put in practice the things
what he learned
at the talk, which is also another thing where we have people that learn and they feel inspired, and then they go back and then they don't practice.
Get results.
Anyway, let's go back to the genesis of this whole thing, right? I have been privileged to go through a lot of application documents, okay? Because before I was doing, I was working with youth empowerment. I was a national coordinator then. So one of the things that I was doing was to recruit volunteers.
Okay.
So you have people from universities, some that have graduated. They're able to send you a CV and a cover letter, and the quality is just not.
It's poor, yeah?
It's just very poor. And after talking to a couple of people, what you discover is that they don't know.
Right, how to write.
They don't know.
I've been there. Carry on.
Like they don't know. And again, like I said, I was part of the blame game team.
Yeah.
So I'll blame them, all this generation and everything. Until when I went back and I was like, you know what, when I was in their situation at that time.
You really had no clue.
I really had no clue. And I was at Chanko, and then you finish at Chanko. You don't get a course on CV writing. You don't get a session on... You don't. Yeah. You don't get a cover letter session or interviews and stuff. But then, when you go outside, for example, in the UK, they have most of the universities have a career and employment center.
I was going to mention,
right? Where even as a student, you go there and you're able to learn about these things. Now, my question was, if in the developed world people are able to teach people stuff like this, why do we leave it to chance in Malawi that people shouldn't be taught how to write these documents or handle themselves in the job interview? So when I got back, that was in January this year, I said, you know what, we're going to run with this thing. So that's how
you started it this year?
Yes.
Get out. You did.
Yeah, we started it this year.
It's crazy.
It actually started in February, actually.
In February,
yes, so we're just a few months old, right? And then after we started, the first session was at Bunda. A couple of people came, and then we had a talk. And one of the interesting things is always that you have people who feel like this is not important.
Yeah, you always have that group of people.
Yeah, this is not important. I think I already got this. I'm just attending because I have to attend or because I have to see you and stuff. In the middle of the session, they're like, wait a minute.
This is useful. Right.
You get it, right?
I do,
So we have had that kind of
response.
Some people have even told me point blank that, you know what, I don't think I'm going to attend the session because I don't see the relevance.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, cool. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go online, Google, and then I should be able to get...
it's a different story between learning from online and interactively.
And I've been like, okay, fair enough. I mean, if you go online and then you get the documents, I'm cool. 3 weeks later, they call me, they're like, how can I attend this session? I'm like, what happened?
What happened? What happened?
I had to attend this job interview, and then after I attended the job interview,
I didn't get the job.
I didn't get the job. I don't know what I did wrong and stuff. I think I should attend your sessions. And some are like, you know what, I want to attend the session, but I don't feel like I should be part of the group. The whole swag, and you're feeling like
God.
Yeah,
There's no time for such now.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, how about we have a one-on-one session just with you? And this is what I tell people, that when you're having these sessions, I'm not only the one who is speaking.
Right.
There are a lot more people that come on board, and you do not only learn from me. You learn from a lot of people. Different people. Okay, there are people that have been in the recruitment industry for a while, so they'll give you practical experiences of things they see when somebody walks in. I haven't had that experience, so I'll give you a theoretical aspect to it.
Yeah, but they'll give you.
The practical side of it. There are people that have secured several scholarships. I was on a chevening scholarship.
Oh, you were?
I were. So when it comes to applications and to do with chevening, I'm your person. Talk about Fulbright.
I'll link after this because chevening has been intimidating me. We should talk more about how intimidating the scholarship process is, but carry on.
When you talk about Fulbright, I'm not your person. There are people that have done Fulbright.
Okay.
You talk of Mandela Fellowship, for example. I haven't been a fellow. There are people that have been fellows.
Right.
So all these people come into this space
combined,
and you're able to learn from every person that you want to get that information from. So the main challenge for me is pride, and we just have to put it right there. Pride.
Okay.
People want to learn, but they don't want to appear like they want to learn. So they'll be like, you know what, I want help, but I also don't want help from you. And you're like, okay, just say it. You want help or you don't.
Yeah.
And if you want help, you have to be willing to do what I'm going to ask you to do. So that has been the major challenge. And the challenge also is because it's coming from young people.
Right.
And this is what I tell young people. You die the day you stop learning. Right?
That's a big statement.
And that's the day that you die. Not the day that you actually die and then they bury you.
But when you stop learning.
When you stop learning, okay? And I've seen this with people that are coming from, especially University of Malawi. I've been at Chancellor College. You are taught that you are the cream of the nation, and that blocks your mind. Wow. So when you walk out, you feel like you know everything.
You're already feeling
You're
yourself.
feeling it and stuff.
Right.
There is no one else who's going to teach me stuff, okay? So you get into the industry where you have...
Different from what you thought it was, right?
You mastered assignments, yes. You nailed all those yeses, yes. You wrote tests, yes.
Yeah.
But then welcome to the University of Life, where you're not in the first year.
Yeah. You're like at the very bottom.
Exactly. And the other thing is, you might have graduated, say for example, with a distinction in a degree in economics. How many people have graduated from Chancellor College ever since it opened?
A lot. People.
That's your competition.
Not just even from there, from other universities. And not just universities in Malawi.
Exactly.
But outside of Malawi.
Exactly. And what I keep on also telling them is this. Your professor is also your competition when he walks out.
True. I've never actually, thought about that. To say, okay, now I'm actually competing with some of my lecturers.
Exactly.
You've even, like, for example, whenever I see, like when I try to pimp out my CV, man, the struggles I faced, I had to ask a few people to can you read this through for me? Can you make sure? Because most organizations now are always asking for a 1-page. Gone are the days when you could send maybe a 2 or 3 page CV. And also at the same time, people are looking into the idea of visual CVs, not just a plain paper. Because then it's like, in your case, for example, you may get about 50 applications, all of them CV, but what exactly makes certain people's CV stand out? Can you just give briefly some tips on how to make your CV stand out?
First of all, for me, I'm a very lazy person when it comes to CVs. So first page for me is where you nail it. Right? You have a CV that comes and the person doesn't put contact details already.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I might like you, but how am I going to get in contact with you? So already that person is out. There are people that will send you a CV with typos. That's already a problem.
Right.
There are some CVs that come to you and they look like an essay.
Oh, wow.
So you're not sure whether this is an essay or it's a CV.
And you're a busy person already.
And I'm a busy person. That's out. And then there's some CVs where they're just intimidating, which is good anyway.
Intimidating? What do you mean intimidating?
Okay. You have a CV that kind of looks surreal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Too good to be true.
You're like...
copy and paste.
Are you telling me that you did all this?
Right.
Okay. But then I've been open-minded these days where I'm like, you know what? There are people that can achieve a lot more stuff in a short time. So that particular person, I don't throw it in the bin. That one I'm going to keep somewhere, so that I go through it,
And even give them a call to
really give them a call.
Is
it convincing? Did you really do this stuff and everything? And then there's some that would send you maybe a 3-page, not a 3-page, but 3 lines, 4 lines, 7.
Too brief.
Yeah, too brief.
Okay.
A document that is sent, maybe they find a certain funny software somewhere. They converted the document, and then you can't open it on your site. So, why should you waste time going through that particular
You're going
CV?
to just skip right through it. So what is the key to having a very good CV then? In 5 points, what would be the top 5 points to having?
For me,
a
first
good
of
CV?
all, is content. The content of the CV,
Right.
right? If you're a person who doesn't have content, even if I teach you how to outline a CV, what are you going to put in it?
True.
Okay? So the great CV for me doesn't come when you put it out there. It's when you are doing stuff. And that is the stuff that's
You
going to
put
fit
in there.
into the CV.
Cool.
So when it comes to young people, especially who are in secondary school and universities, they talk about all work experience and everything. Okay?
That's the other thing where like I haven't worked a day in my life.
Okay.
So.
But you can volunteer.
Okay.
Right? And when I'm talking about voluntary experience, I ask people not to go to UN organization, not to go to the big NGOs for a start.
Okay.
Because usually there's already high competition on that side.
True, that is true.
So when you send your document that side, you might get in or you might not get in.
But chances are very slim.
Chances are very slim. But there are a lot more startup organizations, community-based organizations that have a lot of slots. Actually, they are looking for people like you. The moment you say, I'm at Chanko, I'm at Poly, first year, they're like, aha, that's our person. So you're working in a community and you're like a role model in that community.
Yeah.
So you spend 4 years with that particular organization. Even as a person, you feel that you're contributing to something.
Something, yeah. You can actually see the results of your work as well.
Exactly. People that have done an intern at the UN, most of them that I've met, they haven't told me anything that they have done except walking into the office, they just told, okay, I was photocopying this document, I attended this meeting.
They haven't really grown
Exactly.
as a person. Yeah.
So they were in the UN system, but they haven't really gotten a lot from it.
Okay.
In a small organization, you're going to learn a lot more.
That is so true.
Right.
Like from my own personal experience, to throw that in there, you find that like in small organizations, you get to, because the number of people that are there are not as many. There's so many things you need to do.
Exactly.
So you constantly push yourself to move out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You're constantly learning new things. And so to young people, most young people are scared of fresh ground because they don't know how they're going to react to new. So what would you encourage such young people who are scared to try new things, young people who are scared to attend your workshops, young people who are scared to even come up with a CV or apply for a scholarship?
What I can tell them, they just have to start.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Nice.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
I do blog a lot.
Okay.
I write on different articles. Some I send to media houses where they publish, right? One of the things that you get as a writer, you also do writing.
I do, yeah.
Is that you don't know when to start. So you have that plain document and then it's a plain paper, you have a pen, you just stare at it.
Yeah.
You agree with me that you just have to start.
You just do, yeah.
You just have to start.
That's been my motto lately. Just do it. You don't know how it's gonna go. Just start
do it.
Yeah.
And then you start to put your thoughts together as you're writing. Okay? I've written documents where I read them the following day. I'm like,
not this part.
Not this part.
Let me change this part. Yeah, me too.
You know? But then, if I spent time thinking a lot,
I
was not going to do anything.
You won't do it.
I was not going to do anything.
It paralyzes you.
Exactly. There are people that have the heart for entrepreneurship. They want to be the next Bill Gates and stuff. Trust me, that's not going to happen if you just continue thinking about it. You just have to start. And one of the things is accept that you're going to make mistakes. And that has to be something that has to be in you.
It shouldn't scare you.
It shouldn't scare you.
Embrace it.
And have people who understand that. That we're here to make mistakes.
And embrace
We're not here to succeed. We're here to make mistakes.
And learn from them.
them. Right? Most of the entrepreneurs that you're looking at today, ask them how many mistakes they made. A lot of
That
mistakes.
brings me to the next question.
Yes.
To say that how do you look at entrepreneurship in terms? I think part of Maphunziro265
Yes.
is really about also entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Instead of just producing entrepreneurs, how do you ensure that they're successful?
Okay.
How are you doing that differently?
Good. When it comes to entrepreneurship, for me, it's not about the equipment. It's not about stuff. It's about the mind.
Right.
It's getting the mindset of people right. Okay. A lot of people that I've been interacting with, they want what you call quick successes.
Right. That is the generation that we're living in.
Exactly, the instant generation. So
the
you don't.
microwave
Yeah. The microwave generation. You don't want to work.
Right.
All you want is to be the next Bill Gates in town.
The next big thing.
The next big thing.
Without the sweat, without the sleepless nights. Yeah.
So for me, it starts small. Even the whole thing of getting startup capital and stuff, for me, kind of doesn't work that much.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because you have to be someone who started somewhere already for someone to come and then top up from
wherever you are.
Yes. Because from there, you're able to prove to me that you have had your mistakes, you have learned a couple of things, and when I'm investing in you, you kind of understand the industry that you're getting into. You have someone who wants to establish a media house, right? Private media house. And then they come to you and they say, Kimberly, give me a loan of 20 billion Malawi kwacha.
Right.
This person is passionate, is driven. Are you going to give them that money?
That's a lot of money
No.
to just give out. Yeah.
Right? But if you have someone who, say, for example, is volunteering for Timveni for now, and then they come that in the next maybe 10 years, I want to own a media house.
Right.
But I want to work with you in the process so that I learn a couple of things and then I establish a media house. I'm very likely going to work with this person.
Very, yeah.
Because I kind of understand that this person knows that I just cannot establish a media house without understanding how a media house works. And where do you get that from? You volunteer for a start, or you work for one.
Yeah.
You have that experience. You interact with people that have been in the media industry. Okay?
Right.
You produce content. You might have not been skilled in it, but try to produce content.
Right.
Okay? Produce radio programs, produce TV programs. Know what it takes to produce a TV program.
Because sometimes in the future you'll be able to use that.
So that when you employ people, I mean, you have a media house and then you employ people, and then I meet you, you're my producer, and I say, I need this in the next 3 minutes. When you say no, I understand why you're saying no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you know from experience.
I know what it takes.
Man, we could actually keep. I have so many other questions.
Yes. Okay.
But time is not on our side.
All right.
But I'm sure we're going to have you sometime in the future, because in the future we'd like you to speak more on how people can apply for scholarships.
Okay.
And how people can pimp out their CVs and everything. But it's been a pleasure to have you, Chumawwe.
Thank you.
We'll obviously communicate to the people how they can reach you and how
Right.
they can be a part of your events, standout talks.
Yes.
There, guys. So thank you for joining us.
And that's it for Timveni Newsline.